Well, boys, today is tomorrow, and this man right here has been charged with wire fraud. All right, he stole over $10 million. Now, you guys are probably thinking, what did he do? How did he steal $10 million? How did this happen? All right, how do we do this ourselves without getting caught? Wink, wink. He must have did the Chase Bank fraud technique. Well, actually, no. His fraud scheme was actually more sophisticated, and I will say more noble than a lot of other fraud schemes, because this man created AI-generated music. Now, I get it, boys. It should be a crime to be creating AI-generated music, especially with how trash a lot of it is. But it's not, alright? He wasn't charged with creating bad, trash music. He was charged with essentially scamming music streaming services by automatically botting his songs and making money off of them. Because this man learned a few different tricks to make himself a couple $100,000 a month, alright? This man made over $10 million within the past few years off of essentially botting his own music that he AI generated. Because if you're gonna be botting your own music, let's all be honest here, you already wasn't going to put in the time to actually learn how to make music. And I know everyone's gonna say AI anything isn't real true art, and I agree. But you know what? A scam is one of the greatest arts of our lifetime, alright, boys? There's a reason why we have a term called a scam artist, alright? This was so intricate, alright, to where for a couple years he was getting away with it, and he could have gotten away with it if he didn't succumb to greed, alright? Because for a while he was making a couple $100,000 a year, million here, million there, and then for some reason he was like, you know what? I can push it a little bit. I can push it a little bit further. Spotify won't notice a couple $1 million gone, and then they noticed. And then they tracked this man down. Because instead of him doing what the music industry does and streaming it a couple times, maybe getting a hit here and there, because, you know, the music industry 100% bots their music. There is no, like, oh, maybe, or no, they don't. No, they do that. You guys want to know how a ton of artists come out of nowhere and then they become superstars? They have a actual legal team behind them with a multi-billion-dollar music industry fund. And guess what? You kind of can't send a company to jail. So the companies will be like, hey, you make some pretty decent music. Here's 1 million streams. Here's 1 billion streams. Go ahead, step on stage and say your name, and there's your career. That is literally the music industry. But for this man, Michael Smith, he decided to do this on a much smaller scale, all right? When it comes down to the music industry, you got to go big or go home, all right? Because guess what? To play ball, you got to play dirty. And guess what? These people play filthy in the music industry, because they accused Michael Smith of essentially stealing. Yes, stealing money from Spotify and other artists that would have never ever seen this money. Because, boys, whenever I tell you that musicians are broke, I am telling you musicians are really broke. Unless they got, like, you know, an advance from their label, they are not making money off of Spotify. They might as well just upload their music exclusively to YouTube, because YouTube will pay them a lot more money than what Spotify will pay them. And then on top of that, if they're part of a music label, they really don't make no money, because until they pay back all the money from their little advance, which unless you're already a top charting artist, you're not getting anywhere near any amount of good money for your advance, all right? You're going to be having a trash deal. They're probably going to be like, hey, 50-50, and then Spotify's like, I'll pay you $5 for 1 million, 2 million streams, all right? $5, we're good with that? So then you got to split that $5 that you made off of like 2, 3, 5 million streams at some points with your label, who's going to be like, wow, you're really broke. You're never going to get out of this contract, are you? Because that's how the contracts are written. You're not supposed to ever leave them unless you're literally like Michael Jackson, The Weeknd. Like, unless you're already a huge artist, you're not leaving those contracts, all right, boys? Just go ahead, find a new job, unless you really like music, because you're going to be paying back those advances for a long, long time. But Michael Smith did the smart thing of not signing with any label. Well, smart on one hand that he gets to keep all the money he made to himself, but also unsmart because his whole thing relied on him scamming, which if he signed with the label, I'm pretty sure they would have gotten him out of this situation lickety split. They would have been like, what, my artist? Scamming? No, we were doing that. And it's not called botted streams, it's called advanced listeners. All right, boys. Like, they come up with a whole new term and everything for it. But yeah, so Michael Smith got caught essentially botting his streams with some co-conspirators who also helped bot his AI generated music. And essentially he was having multiple PCs listening to the songs on repeat throughout the day. And Michael Smith was able to figure out just the bare minimum amount of streams he can stream to all of his AI music per day so no one would find out. Well, until obviously they did. And he figured out the number was exactly 661,140 times a day he can stream his music, and everyone would be none the wiser, still netting him over $1.2 million a year. The man had this down to a science, a real fine art. Alright, if anything, this scam should go down in the record books of someone who was so willing to not get a job and to scam to where he figured out the exact amount of streams he can do per day that will be not sus enough to raise any red flags, but just sus enough to where people will be like, how'd you afford that multi-million-dollar mansion and that Ferrari over there? Now, the man didn't know that he needed to get a ton of songs fast, and he needed to stream to all the different songs just so he can not look like, oh, this weirdo's kind of making music and rising through the ranks. Who is this one guy? So he knew that he needs to make a ton of different Spotify accounts, a ton of different artist accounts, and upload his music or a ton of different music to a ton of different accounts so it didn't look that suspicious at all. And, he would have gotten away with this if he, decided to invest his money wisely. And if you're going to be a scammer, invest in your scam. I don't understand why he just didn't start paying real artists money and just, become a music business. I mean, like, all the man had to do was take the $1.2 million that he made the year before and just start paying out a couple artists who made halfway decent music. And then he can be like, what do you mean? These are really good songs. Listen to this, Judge. Isn't that a good song? You don't believe this song deserved 1 million streams? This guy got it on his own. You don't have to know everyone that has 1 million streams. Like, you can make a real good argument, but whenever your songs are beep, 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 boop, bop, beep, 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 boop, bop, beep, that's when people are gonna be like, who the hell is listening to this? But yeah, this man since 2017 has been doing this scam and has been getting away with it. But the couple $1 million he made over the years, about damn near free of charge, because I don't think he would have gotten charged if he just stopped in 2019, 2020, 2021 at the latest. I don't think he would have gotten charged at all. I'm pretty sure he would have been walking free, multi-millionaire, even if he started investing money into other artists and then, actually trying to get them actual exposure in making their music better, then he would have actually turned this whole scam into a legitimate business, which the scam technically is a legitimate business. It's just a legitimate business if you already have money. It's not a legitimate business if you're a broke person trying to make money. So boys, the moral of today's story is, if you're gonna scam, be a multi-billion-dollar corporation like Sony with their brand new PlayStation 5 Pro, because that thing is an actual scam. And I'm not talking about, oh man, it's just bad. I'm talking it is legitimately a scam. And anyone that buys it is legitimately dumb. All right, you're just dumb. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You are dumb. Click this video right here to figure out why is everyone mad at the PlayStation 5 Pro and calling it a scam. But boys, other than that, don't like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.